back.
Sure.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Fall is officially here, which means it's the perfect time to get outdoors and stay moving. If you're someone who enjoys going on walks in fall weather, but you notice heel pain in your foot when you wake up, it could be a sign of plantar fasciitis. A visit to Fleet Feet Lincoln can help you find the shoes and inserts you need to avoid that pain. Their Fit ID machine takes a 3D image of your feet and picks the shoes that work best for you. Visit Fleet Feet Lincoln, located off of 70th and Pioneers Boulevard, so you can stay moving.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at MidwestBank.com. Member FDIC.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Looking for a convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Now through October 13th, you can join for just $1 down, $10 a month. We've got over 2,400 locations with most open 24 hours. Join now to enjoy free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Whether you're new to a gym or a fitness pro, the Judgment-Free Zone is the place for you. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Cancel anytime. Deal ends October 13th. See Home Club for details.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hey, hello. It is a Manic Monday here on the block today. Great start to the week. It is me, Stricky, and Nikki in the building. Beautiful day outside. It is getting cooler, so we do know it's fall outside, but we welcome you in thank you once again to all of the listeners who are tuning in, whether you be by radio or by stream, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Twitter. I mean, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can.
And Twitter, as well as Allo, the VIP line, which they sponsor for us. We're grateful for them as well. It is brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart.
Stricky, before we dive deep into the conversation here, did you try one of those cheesesteaks in the back? Did you know about one of the cheesesteaks in the back?
Mark told me right before I came into the studio. I did not go, I heard they're absolutely phenomenal, but it's sad because I don't get the memos. So I cook, and then I come down here full.
Well, to be fair,
it's not fair.
A lot of great people in the community just surprise us and show up, right? Delco Dave's, though, I believe this is going to be a Monday thing.
Oh, okay.
Delco Dave's Philly cheesesteaks brought us 12 of them for our staff today. Here's the thing, Strick. Delco Dave gets the bread not imported necessarily, but shipped from Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
From a bakery in Philadelphia.
State Street.
They then,
if you know about State Street, you know.
They then thinly cut the local ribeye. And once again, you can get your own Delco Dave's, who is teamed up with SoCal Taco Shop in the alley behind Starter Heyman Jewelers at 12th and O. You can also grab yourself a Birch beer, which is root beer from Philadelphia as well. While you are there, they're open for dine-in and takeout. So come on by, or go on by there. I guess you can't have any of ours, so don't come on by and asking for a Philly cheesesteak. But no, go over to the alley behind Starter Heyman Jewelers. Delco Dave's teamed up with SoCal Taco Shop, and it's unbelievable Philly cheesesteaks.
Shout out to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
Absolutely.
That brought a wonderful, wonderful display of their great meals down to us for our grand opening. We're grateful for them and Charles and all of the wonderful crew out there at 27th Pine Lake. You can always go out there, but not on Manic Mondays. You can't go out there even on Taco Tuesdays, but you can find your way out there on Wonderful Wednesdays or Hump Day Wednesday, whatever one you want to. I call it Wonderful Wednesday because it's halfway through. And there you go. Let's get into this.
Yeah, Stricky.
Starter Heyman Jewelers is always open to you on not only at their jewelry locations, but also here on the text line where you guys text in regularly and tell us your thoughts, your concerns, and how you feel about certain things. So let's jump right into it. Half of the football season for college football has now arrived. It is quite hectic. It's been crazy. There's some games that we're going to talk about. We're going to do a recap at 2:25, but we're going to get into the Husker game to start off a little bit, and then we may have a little bit of feed over into that because I believe that this was what I saw. Let me just say what I saw, Nick, over the weekend. The way that the Huskers played is something I would love to see on a consistent basis. Now, there's some things that we can get into as far as things we'd like to see get better.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the way that they played with reckless abandon, the gang tackling, the swarming, they didn't seem to leave nothing out on that field. And it was like coming into this bye week, they just felt real good about how they were playing on the field there in Illinois on the road.
Well, I think they got somewhat pushed. You remember last Saturday after the 45-7 loss to Michigan that Matt Rule said we're going to find out what kind of team we are next Friday against Illinois. And so we somewhat got an answer to that, I think. And then also after that Michigan game, the day after, they have the full padded practice. And that obviously I think knocked some sense into him maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And then you heard the coaches throughout the week get pretty fired up talking about what their expectation is and what they expect from some of their guys at Nebraska and things like that. Now, I will say this. Nebraska was fortunate, and this is not being negative. This is not being a Debbie Downer because Nebraska did get the victory. I want to preface that, and I'll say it multiple times, I'm sure, throughout the week and throughout next week, is that while Nebraska got the win on Friday, which is really, really, really exciting because Nebraska needed a win to get to 500. It didn't look great. It did not look good. They had 3 turnovers. You look at the drive chart, and Nebraska had multiple opportunities throughout the game to put that away. But there we found ourselves as Nebraska fans and as spectators watching Illinois drive down the field with 3 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And the game not out of reach, right? Nebraska, and thankfully, Nebraska's defense stepped up. They stepped up. They played well. Nebraska's defense did. But you look at Nebraska's offense at certain times in the game, and in a possession where you were up 20-7 already, you fumble, throw an interception, and fumble on 3 straight drives.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not going to get it done.
And when you do that towards the back end, the final 3 minutes of the third quarter is when that drive started. And through the fourth quarter at 4 minutes and 2 seconds was when you fumbled for the third time, or for the second time in 3 drives. When you're talking about an entire almost 10 minutes of game time.
Yeah.
And in that spot, Nebraska was fortunate that their defense came up with an interception.
Yeah.
They forced a turnover on downs, and that they played pretty well on the defensive side of the ball, because against a Michigan, as we saw last week, against the top tier teams, maybe even a Maryland here in a month, that won't.
That's
slide.
not going to cut it.
That will not slide. Nebraska had this opportunity to on 3. Well, if you want to count the missed field goal attempt, on 4 straight drives to put points on the board and kind of step on the throat and leave Illinois with no doubt in their mind.
Yeah.
Now, did they get the win? Absolutely, and it's great.
You got to be happy about it.
You have to be happy about the victory. Yes, absolutely. But you also walk away saying, all right, looking at the film, you missed a field goal attempt that's from 36 yards, if I remember correctly.
I was going to talk about that. And it's really not gosh, my mind just drew a blank. What's the kicker's name?
Tristan Alvano.
It really wasn't Tristan Alvano's fault.
It was not, because
the laces were facing
right.
him. So I give him credit for the ones that he did make, because I know that he had been, it hadn't been a lot of consistency in that.
Yeah.
But he looked good.
Well, that was the first. He hit a 31, a 32, and then missed the 36-yarder. The 31 and 32 were the first field goals that he's made since Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that. But once again, you look at those 4 drives and you look at some of the opportunities that maybe they left out on the field, and it was the 36-yard field goal attempt that he missed, and then it was a fumble in 3 straight drives. That was your last 4 drives to end the game.
Yeah. I listen, when I look at it, there's some things that look good. I still think the offensive production still needs to increase if they're going to have some back end success. And I mean, they're still not out of it. I mean, mathematically, they're not. I mean, they're still very much in it in the West. But when we look at the rushing numbers, 150. I mean, definitely you would like to see a little bit more domination there, in the 200 range. It's still happening a lot at the quarterback position and not necessarily at the running back position. Emmett Johnson looked pretty good on the 7 carries I think he had, and it's still not opening up for me. But I did see something that I was happy about early on, and that was Ethan Piper was pulling, and he got up in the hole and pancaked somebody. I was like, finally, they're not going into air. They're going and getting bodies. And I mean, it broke it open. I want to say it was about, 10, 12-yard run, but he got up in that hole and no, it was on the Harburg break. Ethan Piper got up in the hole and literally just pancaked somebody that helped to spring that.
Yeah. And so you look at just Nebraska's offensive production, like you did mention. I think this dream that I have of Nebraska's offense having a consistent running game with their running back, I think I personally need to reset where my head's at there, because I don't see Nebraska ever getting that this season. They might have a game where they go for 150 yards with their running backs, but then that's not to mean that they'll follow that up. And it's also not to mean that they don't want to do that. I just think that they don't have maybe a guy in the backfield that can do that. Anthony Grant will certainly get you. And Jay and I talked about this on the post game. It felt like he never was given an opportunity to get into a rhythm. It was like he would get 3 carries on a possession, and then you wouldn't see him get another carry for another in the next possession. And then the following possession, he'd get 2 more. There was not a real, I compared him to Dedrick Mills back in 2019.
Okay.
To where it felt like he never really got into a rhythm or was given the ability to say, you know what, we're going to give you the ball 30 times this game or 25 times this game, and it's going to be every single possession you're going to touch the ball at least once.
Mhm.
That's what it feels like. It's never been able to get to that with Nebraska football with Anthony Grant.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get there, but here's what we can't have. I think if they're going to have success, I think even if you're not going to throw the ball in the 30, 35 range, right? They're normally in that 20 to 25 range, if that, right?
Yeah.
But we got to have consistency. Like, if you do it, you got to hit the mark. Like, it can't be 12 for 24 like it is. It can't be 50%.
Exactly.
Your completion rate has to be at least around 65. I mean, and that's not asking a lot. 60 to 65. And that's not asking
So
a
don't
lot.
forget, so at the beginning of the year, I don't know if I ever told you this. I did some research from last year's quarterbacks. Every single team that won eight games or more had a quarterback that completed 65% of his passes.
You did.
Every team, there was not a single team outside of Iowa, which Iowa, by the way, their quarterback at one point this weekend was 1 of 12 with an interception, and they still beat Purdue 20-14. I don't know what's in the water out there in Iowa that's allowing them to do that, but here we are. But once again, last year, Iowa was the only team that had a quarterback in Spencer Petras that completed less than 65% of his passes in the season and won 8 games or more. So you want to look at that's not the end all be all with completion percentage and record, and maybe there's not that much of a direct correlation. But don't forget also what Marcus Satterfield said at the beginning of the season prior to Minnesota was that throughout fall camp, Jeff Sims was completing 65% of his passes. And that was the benchmark that they set towards Jeff Sims.
Yeah.
And so that's why that was what was interesting about the 65%. By the way, Casey Thompson last year, I believe, completed 63 or 64% of his passes, just to kind of give you a reference point. So I think when you look at this, I'm completely on board with you, Strick. You look at Heinrich Harburg, and while he's made some plays, he's also missed some throws.
Yep.
And once again, you might be able to get away with those against an Illinois.
Yeah.
But when that won't slide, when things like that won't slide against a Maryland, against a Wisconsin, and even an Iowa down the road, that means that you have to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to turnovers, when it comes to penalties, when it comes to all the other facets to make up for the mediocre quarterback play. You can't have 10 penalties for 70 yards.
No.
This offensive line is one of the most experienced, not great, the most experienced offensive lines in the conference. You have guys, 4 of the 5 guys have over 30 starts at their positions on the offensive line. That can be a rarity at times.
Yeah.
You cannot be having procedure penalty after procedure penalty after procedure penalty.
Yeah, I think Proska had a couple of them, that.
And so you just can't, because they're when your quarterback struggles at times to make the throws, you can't get into third and longs. You can't get behind the chains, because then your playbook becomes even more limited. You got to figure out a way to stay ahead of schedule, and 10 penalties for 70 yards is certainly not a great way to do that.
And we want to get more feedback on how long and what the situation is with Marcus Washington. That's not going to help. That room is very, very thin already as we look at it. And to lose him, who is probably definitely one of your more seasoned, receivers in that group, that you just worry about if they're going to be able to get done. Now, I like that, Borkature and some of those guys, they did pretty good.
Yeah.
You like to see Fedoni finally starting to kind of come around and find space and be able to do a few things, but you've got to be able to hit it, because especially in zone, like if you can't create the space in the man, that's understandable. But whenever you find them playing zone, you've got to hit the mark.
You got to find the soft spot.
You've got to hit it.
Yeah, you got to find the soft spot. And Nebraska's going to have to at times, because a lot of teams will probably play. They're going to have to figure out ways to make plays, like Marcus Washington, and that was one of the better throws by Heinrich Harburg. Like, he put it in a spot where Marcus Washington was going to be able to get it. It was to his backside. Maybe it was a tad underthrown, but you saw Marcus Washington able to adjust his body and come down with a throw. And so I thought, there were definitely flashes, right? And we've seen a lot of good things from Heinrich Harburg. You've also seen some bad decisions. Yes,
they made
absolutely.
plays, winning plays. They made some. Of
Yeah.
That's why you can clap your hands.
And at the end of the day, Heinrich Harburg is here 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
He's 3-1 as a starter, and Nebraska is 3-3. Now, obviously, understanding the competition, this isn't the Illinois defense of 2022, but it's still a Big Ten road victory, like we started out with, right?
Yeah.
And
this is that stretch.
You want to? I was say you want to talk about the psyche. You want to talk about the psyche of the fan base, just the overall engagement levels. They keep them pretty high when you're going into a bye week 3-3 instead of 2-4, right?
Yeah.
The feeling and the vibe and the mood around Lincoln and in Lincoln is a lot worse if Nebraska doesn't win that game on Friday.
I would have to agree.
2-4 does not feel good going into a bye week when you can talk about it for 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. The sentiments, the feeling, I'm sure Lincoln was a little bit more of a buzz than probably if that didn't happen.
Well, I mean,
to go on the road.
Think about it. We'd have to talk about a loss against Illinois for 2 weeks. They wouldn't have the ability that they had after Michigan to say, all right, bounce back here in 6 days.
Yeah.
You don't have that. It's bounce back in 14 days.
We're going to come back a little bit, and we're going to continue, but we're going to go to the defensive side of things and give them, a good hand clap and things that they can get better on. But also we want to give them kudos for the things that they've done. But then we're going to get into some of the top games and some of the breakdowns for week 6. It was just a crazy, crazy, crazy first half of the season in college football. But we'll be right back. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com on the block. We'll be right back.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is, just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your weekly forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine as well as some calm winds. Afternoon high should top out around 66. Tonight we'll see clear skies and an overnight low of around 40. And tomorrow, more of the same. Lots of sunshine, calm winds. A little warmer tomorrow. We'll see an afternoon high of around 72. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln is kicking off October with Can-Am side-by-side specials all month long. Are you ready to rule the terrain on a 2023 Can-Am Defender, Commander, or Maverick? You call a play and score big with rebates up to $1,500 or financing as low as 1.99% for 36 months. From an open road to the trails, there's a Can-Am side-by-side that's right for you, and Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has them all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer ends October 31st, 2023. Certain conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Creekat, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and man, the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Koppel, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with approved credit.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes. We're back on the block. Tricky, Stricky, and Nikki.
There we are. You get a full week of this.
It's not going to stop for a whole week. Shout out to Austin Orman and his beautiful queen that had a wonderful, lovely, healthy baby boy. Beckett Herbie Orman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beckett Austin Orman. There it is.
There it is. Let's get into a recap of some of the games. And I want to start with this one because it was an absolute phenomenal game. Happened to be in Dallas at the time. And to watch that game and then to watch how it ended, it was just two teams that are going to be going into the SEC, two teams that are vying for Big 12 supremacy before that their era of it ends. And it's one of the biggest rivalry weekends. The Red River weekend is this game is just an intense game. And it was one that the Longhorns, I think, really where they blew them out last year. Like, I mean, they beat the brakes off of them, and then to come back and then shout out to Coach Venables. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
Because one thing that you can say for sure is that Coach Venables had this freaking defense ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look like the same Oklahoma defenses of old. I mean, I guess this is one of their mainstays. This is how they're going to go. It didn't look like that to me. But let's get to this subject, Nick. Texas, top 5 team in the country.
Yeah.
This team does what Nebraska has done and has been plagued by, which have been turnovers. He had 3 of them, multiple interceptions, 2 interceptions, as well as a fumble loss.
Quinn Ewers.
Then Quinn Ewers, and then you lose by 4.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you that it doesn't matter at what level. It is a thing that is so tough to overcome. And this is why we're talking about this, because we're talking about even great teams, good teams, that now I've got to ask you that question. You understand the correlation of it with the turnovers, but on top of that, is there bounce back? I don't think in the Big 12 there's enough room or enough upswing for them outside of this game, unless they come back and maybe win the Big 12 championship, maybe facing this team off again. But I don't know where it comes from. Are they done?
So there were a couple takeaways I got from this game, and off of your point about the turnovers, Stricky.
I mean, because he 350
and that's
yards.
the thing. I mean, what he completed was like
Gabriel.
It was like 31 of 37, 31 of 36 or something. It was high percentage, right? 2 of those were interceptions. You had the big fumble by Xavier Worthy near the end zone. So I think it builds off of what I said earlier, that it doesn't matter if you're playing against Illinois or you're playing against number 12 Oklahoma or you're playing against number 3 Texas. Like, you got to be able to take care of the football. And if you don't have guys that can do that, number one, or if you don't have guys that are such exceptional athletes to make up those lost points, right? Whether that's on the defensive side and shutting the opponent down after you turn it over to them, or after you get the ball back, being able to score and make those points up. If you don't have that, you're going to find yourself on the losing side of things more often than not if you continue to turn the football over, right?
Right.
And you get behind the sticks. Another thing that I just took away from this one was that how great is it, and I know this is a little off the beaten path here, Strick, the 12-team playoff going to be?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because that, like, the 12-team playoff opens up the possibility of this rematch in playoff football, right? Because these 2 teams are going to finish at the top in the top 12 of the polls this year. One team, one of them might make it, one of them might not. 0 of them might make it. Like, doesn't matter, whatever it is. But like, if Texas ends up being the 10th team and Oklahoma's the 5th team, there's a way that you're playing each other again. There's a way that, and that's what makes everybody wants to complain about 12-team playoffs and how it
loses its savor.
Yeah, like whatever. Yeah. Nobody's ever going to complain about more football, and nobody's ever going to complain about more money, as you just said, and nobody's ever going to complain about more highly ranked matchups. Why? Because you have games like this,
especially at the tail end of the season.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, because even if you look at some of the bowl, like, just be honest. We watch the end of the season bowl games not because they're exciting and or intense. Mostly, you just watch it because you love football.
Yeah, like
but you don't really watch it until it gets into New Year's.
Yes, like I'm tuning into the Quick Lane Bowl because we haven't had football for 3 or 4 weeks, and it's like I miss it.
Right
now that the games, the New Year's 6 games, the playoff games, those are now going to be a week, 2 weeks earlier, and it's like, is anybody going to complain about that? No.
I think it's gonna make it more intense.
You're getting number 6 versus number 10. You're truly finding out. Now, it might open up this big old, sinkhole of, well, then you got to go to 16. Then it's, where do you draw the line at? And I understand that you're going to have those kind of arguments and those people that always say to add more teams and where to draw the line. But at the end of the day, I would love to see another Oklahoma-Texas game this season at the end of the year. I would love to see another Alabama-Texas A&M game at the end of the year. Same thing with Georgia, Alabama. Like, I don't care if it's a rematch of the SEC championship game, because it's high quality football, right? And so I would have loved to see Ohio State and Georgia play multiple times last year.
Great.
Like it would have been great.
It's great. It'd great.
And nobody's ever going to complain about that. But back to the turnover conversation, you're absolutely right. Whether you're ranked third or whether you're not ranked and you have 120th best offense out in the country out of 133 teams, same principles,
Same thing works.
Same fundamentals still apply.
Absolutely. And that's what's important. So when you hear us talking about certain things like this, it's not that we're just trying to harp and be focused. No, because we understand that whether you're a good team or a great team, it impacts you, especially depending on the level of the game that you're playing at.
And if you
it's tough
want,
to overcome.
And here's the thing, Strick, is if once you get there, it shows that you always have to continue improving. And that expectation and standard always has to continue. Everybody wants to say, don't move the goalposts. Well, the expectation and standard has to keep moving up. You have to move the standard, keep increasing it. Because if you're Texas here, you got to the standard to where you were good enough to beat Alabama this year. You played a good enough football game 1 week to beat Alabama, this big bad dynasty of Nick Saban. But then just a few short weeks later, you didn't play well enough to beat Oklahoma. It's one thing to do it once again, and that's what makes these like programs like Georgia so phenomenal, I guess, is because the consistency factor.
Yeah,
they're doing it week in and week out, and sure they have the great talent, but if your great talent doesn't make good decisions, if they don't hold on to the football, whatever the case may be, they can get through it just like Nebraska got through it against Illinois. Georgia can get through Tennessee, Chattanooga, turning over the ball 3 or 4 times. But hey, you better not make a habit out of it, because come January and you're playing another top 5 team, it's not Chattanooga lining up across from you.
That's a fact.
Because that team is taking care of the ball and you're not.
Yeah, we would go into it. We're not going to dig too deep in this one because it was an absolute demolishing that Georgia put on Kentucky.
Yeah.
We thought maybe they'd put up a little bit more fight, especially after how well they'd been playing. But Carson Beck put together a nice string for himself at 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, and only 1 interception for 51-13 shellacking. We'll go down and I talked about the conspiracy theory, I think. Of the Ohio State. Maryland looked really good early on. I mean, they looked like they were going to hang in there. They played very good as far as, especially on the defensive side of things. I think the mistakes, again, the turnovers, 2 interceptions by Tagovailoa definitely hurt them, and a little bit more consistency on the other side, even though it's not super great, 320, but I mean, it's, solid. He did what he was supposed to do. Kyle McCord did what he was supposed to do. They didn't do anything in the running game. You didn't put enough together to go ahead and pull that game out. And it's just one of those things. It's unfortunate, but it is part of the game.
And once again, it's like certainly the skill and the recruiting rankings and the stars and the talent, overall talent matters, right? Because you at times you can line up and just say, yeah, we're better than you. Like that's
just what it is.
That's truthful. But I think you look at the ability to make adjustments and to progress as a program together, and it's the fundamentals of football, right? And it's a quarterback that makes good decisions. It's a quarterback that delivers it accurately and on time, and it's just holding on to the football and playing good disciplined defense, good tackling, and the talent will then shine through and just make you that much better of a football team.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to your text questions. We're gonna take a quick. Go ahead,
real quick. Like that's why backups are able to come in and still win games for some of those programs. They're not good enough to start,
but their talent level.
Well, it's their talent level, but then they also still make the right decisions, and they just play their position
within their selves.
They don't try to be
Yeah.
Superman,
Yeah.
and that's where Nebraska's had to ask or chosen to ask guys to be Superman over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
There it is. We're going to come back. We're going to get into some of your text questions. There's one more game that I want to talk about, want to run by Nick, that I think has late season implications potentially, just because they're kind of sus. But we'll get back into that when we get back on the block right after this.
Fall is officially here, which means it's the perfect time to get outdoors and stay moving. If you're someone who enjoys going on walks in fall weather, but you notice heel pain in your foot when you wake up, it could be a sign of plantar fasciitis. A visit to Fleet Feet Lincoln can help you find the shoes and inserts you need to avoid that pain. Their Fit ID machine takes a 3D image of your feet and picks the shoes that work best for you. Visit Fleet Feet Lincoln, located off of 70th and Pioneers Boulevard, so you can stay moving.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and man, of the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this happening right now at Koppel. You have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right, happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at KoppelCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with roof credit.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln is kicking off October with Can-Am side-by-side specials all month long. Are you ready to rule the terrain on a 2023 Can-Am Defender, Commander, or Maverick? You call the play and score big with rebates up to $1,500 or financing as low as 1.99% for 36 months. From an open road to the trails, there's a Can-Am side-by-side that's right for you, and Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has them all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer ends October 31st, 2023. Certain conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Close your eyes and imagine yourself buying a Nebraska Lottery Trucks and Bucks scratch ticket. Now, imagine scratching it off and winning a brand new truck. Imagine the excited victory dance you'll do when you get the keys to your new truck. There you go. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Now, imagine driving down the street in your cool new ride. Easy. Slow down a little. Maybe give a little honk to that neighbor who thinks he's all that. Nice. Now, open your eyes and play today.
Top prize odds, 1 in 336,000.
What are you doing, hon?
I thought we were going to pick up our Powerball with Power Play and Double Play tickets.
Hold on, I have to sit through this video meeting for work.
Do they realize how big the Powerball jackpot is?
I know, but these blowhards keep rambling on.
I don't want to miss my chance to win millions of dollars.
Well, neither do I, but how do I get these windbags to speed it up?
Dave, you're not on mute.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Play Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block. E. Strick and Nick Sainert here, 2 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday is where you can find us, especially for the next week. And Nick and Strick will be on Wednesdays from 2 to 4 as Austin is off, just to give you a little bit of wisdom and insight as to how the scheduling goes here at 93.7 The Ticket for On the Block for the rest of the year and on until something changes. But nonetheless, let's finish up in this last game. This is the last game that I had just on my mind, Nick. And we can easily talk about the Texas A&M game, but the upset we could talk about with Washington State, just how things are going out there. But we're not going to get into that. The one, there's a big upset. The Georgia Tech one just blew my mind. I mean, I think that might be worth talking about because we're going to talk about that at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
When we deal with some of the coaching debacles that happened over the weekend in college football as well. But now, this is the game. USC, Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona State faced Colorado last week, gave them a run. USC, the two teams that faced prior to that week, where it didn't look very good for Colorado. They got blown out.
Yeah.
But they go down to Arizona and almost take the L.
Hey, so Arizona, the Wildcats actually in the Coliseum jumped out to a 17-0 lead. They forced 3 straight 3-and-outs to begin the game against the Trojans. Caleb Williams, I believe, started 1 for 6 or 1 for 7 in this game. And here's the thing, Strick. We know what USC can do on offense, right? And they can score quick, right? And that's a Lincoln Riley type of offense. But what I'm interested in seeing going forward is how long, and I said this on the happy hour, how long the leash is for like an Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator for USC. Because you'll remember Alex Grinch came over with Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, and his defense was not anything to write home about at Oklahoma. But it also didn't matter because they were able to outscore everybody, right? It was what we felt from Scott Frost, where it was like, hey, it's okay if Nebraska gives up 38 points because they're going to score 55. Like that's the kind of mantra, the feeling. Well, on Saturday, Arizona jumps out to that 17-0 lead. Caleb Williams and the USC offense can't get anything going, but also the USC defense allowed a backup quarterback in Noah Fafita to basically do anything they wanted. Right? Their starting quarterback got injured. Their starting quarterback got injured 2 games ago. But no, Fafita comes in, completes 25 of 35 for 303, 5 touchdowns and 1 pick. Then running the ball, Jonah Coleman for Arizona, 22 carries, 143 yards, 6.5 yards per carry against the USC defense. And I posed this question to Rico. what is USC going to do
Facts.
when they run into a Big Ten type of defense?
That's why I wanted to. This is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is not a winning recipe against some of the elite squads that are still out here. Now, the crazy thing about that is a lot of these elite squads, are they fully elite, or is it still too early? We'll see more in the second half if we get deep into like SEC conference schedules and
November is usually the month
when you
too,
start really seeing guys finally lock down and solidify who they are and their identities and so forth and so on. Then the washout of what left ends up, finally the guys that are stepping in and had been filling voids from guys that ended up going in high draft picks or whatever the case may be, they start to kind of come to life. But this scares me as far as, USC's had this same problem each and every year. I just don't know if it gets better, because it's the same methodology that could, and it's probably going to haunt them, because I honestly think Oregon's going to get them.
Oh, yeah.
I think Oregon's going to get them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Washington has a chance. I think Washington's in a similar boat. I don't think their defense is as good, but I think their offense is phenomenal, elite. But so that'll be a barn burner probably, and it comes down to who has the ball last, and obviously this was an overtime game, so it's going to come down to something like that. But at the end of the day, that's one that scared me. But we're going to get to the text messages after this. Go ahead.
I completely agree, and I just wonder. I actually did stay up for the majority of this game. This game got over. It started at 9:30. I think it got over about 2:15 in the morning because it went to triple overtime. And funny enough, there was some real questionable play calling towards the end by Arizona. There was, I believe they ran it on, it was like 2nd and 16. They ran it right up the middle. They got 1 yard, but people believe that they should have passed it because it's 2nd and 16 in double overtime. And there were some questionable decisions made by Arizona's coaching staff, that play calling and things like that allowed USC, who does score pretty quickly, to stay in it and then eventually come back all the way from 17 points down at one point. So, but give credit to Arizona for some aspect.
Yeah,
of it,
no doubt about it. We're gonna get to we're gonna have to go for this quick break. We're gonna get back and we're gonna hit your text messages. Thanks you guys for those who did text in and on some of the subject matter that we just discussed. But then we'll also get into Monday Measure. I think this is something we may call it going forward. Monday Measure, just as we talk about the recaps of different storylines of the week that just passed. And this one's going to deal with blunders and bad decisions, how the football coaches are affecting the game a little bit in some of these losses. We'll be right back. Get back to it right here on the block.
Close your eyes and imagine yourself buying a Nebraska Lottery Trucks and Bucks scratch ticket. Now, imagine scratching it off and winning a brand new truck. Imagine the excited victory dance you'll do when you get the keys to your new truck. There you go. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Now, imagine driving down the street in your cool new ride. Easy. Slow down a little. Maybe give a little honk to that neighbor who thinks he's all that. Nice. Now, open your eyes and play today.
Top prize odds, 1 in 336,000.
What are you doing, hon? I thought we were going to pick up our Powerball with Power Play and Double Play tickets.
Hold on. I have to sit through this video meeting for work.
Do they realize how big the Powerball jackpot is?
I know, but these blowhards keep rambling on.
I don't want to miss my chance to win millions of dollars.
Well, neither do I. But how do I get these windbags to speed it up?
Dave, you're not on mute.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Play Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds, 1 in 292 million.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, They deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. Here are your Week 6 high school football results. In Class A, in an inter-city clash, Lincoln North Star got the win over Lincoln High, 38-6. Lincoln Southeast won over Lincoln Southwest, 30-14. In Class B, number 4 Waverly took the win over number 8 Scotts Bluff after dominating in the first half, 27-0. The Vikings wouldn't allow a single first down in the half. Scotts Bluff would come back in the second half, but falls short with the final score of 27-14. Norris continued their dominant season with a win over Beatrice, 63-20. Switching to volleyball on Monday, October 2nd, Columbus defeated Lincoln Northeast in 2 sets. Lincoln Southwest would go on to beat Columbus in 2 sets, followed by another win over Lincoln Northeast in 2 sets. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Attack, which is an exciting pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Attack can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sutter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Be sure and call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technician will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, they're having a one-day sale on Friday, October 13th. For Friday only, enjoy USDA Choice Boneless Rump Roast for just $3.99 per pound. Limit 10 pounds. All-natural St. Louis-style spare ribs for $1.99 per pound, plus more in-store specials. That's all this Friday for the one-day sale at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group are Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com. If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This is On the Block with Stricken Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Stricken Austin.
Welcome back to On the Block for the second hour. And we're going to get into some of your text messages that you guys reached out to us. We want to make sure that to let you know that we do hear you or see your text and take sometimes out of context maybe what you're saying, but we try to get the gist of what you're saying in the text message on the Sutter-Heyman text line. We thank them, 402-464-5685. If you want to engage in the conversation, you're welcome to do so. Latex Mallard from MySpace.
That's MySpace man.
MySpace man says, when is our defense going to score some points? I've been waiting all year. That goes back to something that I talked about, how we're doing the Barney a lot of the times. I saw a lot more aggressiveness in the tackling game, the swarming. I saw something that I can tell was technical. I can't remember the exact play or who it involved, but I'll just kind of tell you about it. So it was a long third down play, and this sometimes happened to us. That's a problem. They go short. There was three players in the area. He kind of broke loose for a second, and they kind of recovered. But it was a surrounding group of defensive players. One was in the middle. They didn't bite, and the two kind of just hemmed him in, and they all just like ate him up like a Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Which is good, right? Because you want to see that type of combination when you're trying to limit them from getting first downs. If you allow them to catch short, you individually need to break down and really just inside out the guy and just not let him. So these are technical things. That was a technical group tackling deal, because if one person bites and gets out of way, it can create an outlet where you can trip up maybe one of your guys and still give them a little bit more leverage to get the first down. So, but speak to that text. What you think?
Well, here's the thing is one thing I will say, I would go maybe even take it a step back, MySpace man, and say, when's Nebraska going to force turnovers?
That's the one.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. Quentin Newsom got one finally, his first career.
Yeah, he finally got one. But Nebraska, whether it was Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech, or Illinois, at some point, just as we said they can't commit turnovers, they need to figure out a way to force turnovers.
Yeah, create short field opportunities.
Yeah, because when your offense struggles the way that Nebraska's has to this point, you got to figure out a way to help them out as best that you can.
That's the Barney rule I was talking about,
when,
Nick.
Yeah, and when you're talking, yeah, exactly.
Strip that, get in there.
When you're talking about, I guess, having a quarterback grow up and trying to get him experience and trying to give him a beneficial situation. Is it more beneficial for a young quarterback to start the drive, and this is a rhetorical question, to start the drive at the opponent's 40 or at their own 18?
Right.
You're talking about there's over 45 yards of additional room there to work with that you have to work with, that the 45 yards further that you have to travel. Right. And so when you look at Nebraska's offense or defense, excuse me, you got to figure out a way. They've been good in the bend don't break department, forcing field goals. However, that stop that they had at the start of the game on 3rd and goal from the 1, where they did stop them 2 straight plays.
Yeah.
That was the first time that they stopped a defense in the red zone. Nebraska this season was bad in red zone defense.
Right.
One of the worst in the country. Before that drive on Friday night where Illinois was stopped in the red zone, Nebraska allowed 12 scores in 12 attempts. Right? And so you have this, yes, bend don't break, because hey, they forced a field goal instead of allowing a touchdown. I get that, and you celebrate those things. But at some point, Nebraska's going to have to figure out a way to force turnovers and take the ball away.
Right. I want to give an example. If you happen to really be attuned to, there was a specific play in the OU game before we get back to the next text. There was a specific play. It was a completion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was an important part of the down. Oklahoma defender is trailing the play. Now they called it knee down fumble.
Yeah.
But the Oklahoma the guy who was backtracking, as he's going down, he reaches in with his fist and punches the ball.
Yeah.
Which caused it to kind of start to, go out. And I think it was Gunnar Helm that made the catch, and he was on his way to a first down. And his knee just happened to go down. Otherwise, it was going to be a fumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of stuff we don't do. Like, as guys are going to the ground, we're not in there. We're not in there poking, prodding, hitting, punching. We did get one good helmet on the ball fumble.
Yeah. And that's
the type of stuff
is
we
you
need.
see flashes. Also, there's like parts of it where if there's a group of Nebraska defenders around a guy, somewhat holding them up and just ripping at that football.
Yeah.
You see it all the time.
Yeah.
And when you're watching the Texas Oklahomas, the USCs, they're not maybe not the USCs, but the Notre Dame Louisville on Saturday night. Like you watch Ohio State, right? And they are going at it. But now you have to be smart about it, because you obviously can miss a tackle and you need to be able to take the guy down. And so I just think that unfortunately Nebraska, they've gotten a few interceptions this year. They've recovered a couple fumbles, but it's been most of the time, prior to maybe on Saturday, most of the time it's been because of mistakes that other guys have made, throwing it up in double coverage, throwing it up in triple coverage. And Joe B says the defense is the backbone of the team, and now we're asking even more out of them. I'm not complaining about defense one bit. I'm not sure we're complaining about it. I think we're sitting here going, how can they continue to improve? And I think Tony White would say that as well. Like Nebraska, outside of that Colorado game where they had, 8 sacks and 11 tackles for loss, have they been able to sack the quarterback effectively and consistently? Not really. Have they been able to get tackles for loss? Has the tackling been better? Absolutely. There's always room for improvement, though. I don't think we're trying to complain or trying to sound negative.
And I came into the show talking about that. We're not going to be negative, but we're going to talk about improvement.
You can always sit here and go that you can improve more, and that Tony White would tell you that they want to improve more and they expect to improve more. Does that mean they've been playing bad? Absolutely not. But there's definitely room for improvement, especially when your offense, needs a lot of help. And you are the group that they're going to rely on. And that's what we got. It says, LOL, come on, guys. Our defense is not the problem. The offense needs to get better. Absolutely.
We're agreement.
Absolutely. And we're not saying that the defense, not saying that one bit. We're saying that the defense at some point, unfortunately, they want to take it. Like, as a fan, it always feels like Nebraska is always just kind of sitting on their heels waiting for the opponent to make the mistake, whether that's an interception, whether that's a fumble, whatever it is, when in reality, you look at Iowa and why
That's
Iowa
what I
wins
was going to
games.
say. Come on, man.
Why does Iowa win games, right?
Yeah. They create turnovers.
They create turnovers, right? And what can be a big momentum change and shift in a football game,
Yeah.
forcing a turnover, and you being the reason that they turn the ball over,
Yeah.
not them being the reason that they turn the
That
ball
because
over.
they're just bad or
Exactly.
they got bad quarterback.
Exactly.
No, go create the situation. That's all we're saying. We're not saying nothing bad about the defense. But
But
anyway.
it's still a top, like they're 27th in total defense. They're allowing, I think, like 353 yards per game. Yes, they're a good defense, and they've had this bend don't break mentality. But us sitting here and saying that prior to Friday night's first possession of the game that they allowed 12 scores and 12 trips to the red zone, that's all factual. That is 100% factual. Does it mean that it's bad? Not necessarily, because Nebraska's offense has done things to put Nebraska's defense in a really tough position. That's being honest and real and upfront. But also, at the end of the day, Nebraska's, and since their offense is struggling so much, they're going to need to lean on their defense even more and more so every single game.
Absolutely. Swift from Lincoln says, don't you think USC is built fairly similar to Ohio State? They'll be able to out-athlete most of the Big Ten still. I normally would say that, but I think Ohio State traditionally has been very West Coast finesse style, and that kind of changed for a little bit, because back in the Clarett, Maurice Clarett type day, they were very dominant in the run. You know, I think there was probably a stretch of about 5 or 6 years where there was a good balance, and then they kind of went very finesse, very, wide receiver dominated. Then their defenses were good at one stint, and then all of a sudden they got real soft.
Yeah.
So there was a transition for them. Now, listen, I can't say that. I could say that for most Big Ten teams. I think Maryland, that just was a great challenge for them to have to go on the road. I think maybe if Maryland played at home, maybe it could have been a different story.
I would say
but Penn State's catching up.
Yeah.
And obviously they still have to beat Michigan. They haven't done that the last 2 years.
I would sit here and say Ohio State, while they do have exceptional athletes on the offensive side of things, they still play really good defense, right? I think this year they're averaging only allowing 10 points per game. And we can, let's bring that conversation back to Nebraska here, because this is the position, being upfront and transparent, that Nebraska's in right now. Is Nebraska's defense is allowing 21 points per game. That's skewed a little bit because of the 45 points allowed to Michigan, so I understand that. So even if you wanted to say 18 points, they're allowing 18 points per game or 17 points per game. Nebraska's offense isn't necessarily always good for a 20-point performance, right? You can't count always on Nebraska's offense to score 28. Like, you're going into this Northwestern game thinking and believing, all right, Nebraska can hold Northwestern to 10 points, to 13 points.
Are you satisfied with Nebraska only scoring 14 points?
Are you that confident in Nebraska's ability to score 14, 17, 21 points? I'm not sure you are right now, and that's being honest.
Without those things that we talked about, turnovers, field position wins.
Yes, if you're able to create takeaways and give Heinrich Harburg or Jeff Sims or Anthony Grant 40 yards to work with, instead of having to go from the 5 or from the 12 or even the 25, you limit the chance for penalties, which, yes, is the offense's fault, but it all works together in my eyes, is that it limits the chances for penalties. It keeps you in, it gives you a better chance of at least being in field goal range to attempt a field goal, and that's their own issues. Yes, the offense absolutely needs to get better, but defense is going to have to be the side of the ball where we say, you're giving us a lot, keep going. Keep giving Nebraska more and more and more, because then if the offense ends up striking gold and does well, then the expectation for the defense won't change even just when the offense begins to roll.
Right.
It's not, hey, okay, now you guys can kind of step off the gas a little bit. No, if you can't keep on pushing the defense to give you more and give you more and help out your team even more, Well, then if you're able to force a takeaway and give it to your offense at midfield, well, then once you get your offense cooking and it's rolling successfully and consistently, isn't that going to make your entire team better?
Yeah,
you're never going
right.
to let off the gas.
You're absolutely right. I think Nick, it's also, and you can just look at Iowa. Even though Iowa was putrid to me as far as their offense is concerned, I even venture to say that I don't even think Nebraska's offense is as bad as Iowa's was. To be honest, I'm just being honest. But yet they went to a bowl game, and they were they last year 8-5?
Yeah.
So that's the difference of what we're talking about. We're not coming down on them. We're not trying to say, oh yeah, we're complaining. No, we're not doing that. But what I'm trying to say is that's the difference from you going 3-1, 4-0 in this stretch, as opposed to playing even Steven, and now you're putting pressure on the back half of probably the more tougher half of your schedule to try to pull out a game or two against the Wisconsin or an Iowa on the road or stuff like that. And that puts you in a bowl game. I'm saying bank these games now, and if your defense can do what Nick just said, give you more, a little bit more. Just give you a little bit more, give you some turnover, give you some opportunities, create some situations, because that's the difference between you banking them games or having to play
it's also going to force your offense to look in the mirror and say, dang, we need to
get it up.
We need to pick our bleep up.
Right.
We got to pick our bleep up because they know the conversations that are happening. The offense doesn't enjoy being the side of the ball that everybody knows is worse than the defense. If that expectation continues to increase and that standard continues to get more and more for the defense that has had a really good year, then that offense eventually is going to be forced to pick it up. They're going to be forced to, because there's no other choice.
You don't want to be the weakest link. Goodbye.
Bingo. Well, and in this day and age, it's if you are, sorry. Like, if you want to talk about this expectation that Nebraska should have, and this expectation and standard that Nebraska fans want the program to have, if you're not holding up to your end of the bargain, sorry, it's a business at the end of the day. Either fall in line with the standard and expectation and want to do your job, or move on and no hard feelings.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth. Yes, the defense has had a great start to the year. That 45-point performance is not on solely the defense. Could coverages be better? Certainly. Is there just a talent gap? Probably. Is it all on the defense? Absolutely not. But just as the offense needs to help out the defense this year, in a time where Matt Rhule has said out loud and publicly that, hey, this is a defense first team, naturally you need to ask the defense to do even more, because the offense is just lagging behind right now.
Yeah. And he's consistently said that. So,
yeah.
And that's fine.
And that is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That is not a bad thing that the defense is first, right? You think back to that 2009 Nebraska team. Remember how good that defense was? But what was one thing that they did? They took the ball away. You had Levante David ripping it out of running backs' hands. You had Prince Amukamara jumping routes and picking the ball off. You had Ndamukong Suh getting to the quarterback and sacking him. That team would have been good for Nebraska even without one facet of that. That defense would have still been a top 50 defense in the country.
There's games that they would have won in the close games that they ended up losing because of the mistakes with that type of defense, because you could have balanced out the mishaps.
Exactly.
3 turnovers, maybe your differential goes from 3 loss, I guess, to maybe 1 or 1.5.
I need to make a correction. Levante David was in 2010, but
we're talking about those
understand
types
what I'm
of
saying.
defenses.
You understand what I'm saying. Is you look at like that. That's what allowed Nebraska to win games. I believe in 2010 they beat Oklahoma 10-3. They beat a Landry Jones team in prime time on national television 10-3. And if I remember correctly, and I'm sure the text line will correct me if I'm not, I'm pretty sure that touchdown in that 10-3 game came on a Prince touchdown, or the interception set up a touchdown. I think it was actually that the Prince Amukamara interception set Nebraska up in the red zone, and they ended up getting a touchdown out of that.
Yeah.
And they beat Oklahoma 10-3. And so you look at just what you talk about, these spark plays, and we always talk about how, unfortunately on the offensive side, Nebraska doesn't have a Trey Palmer. They don't have a Samori Toure, a guy that can take the top off of a defense. They don't have a running back right now that's maybe healthy, that has the breakaway speed to outrun somebody. So then you look around the team and you say, all right, who's going to step up and give us that spark play?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of Husker fans that would say that there's better athletes, and this is no hard feelings, there's better athletes on the defensive side of the ball rather than maybe on the offensive side of the ball. And that's no hard feelings.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm going to throw this question to you before we get to Brian Munson and answer some of the questions that you guys have with regard to recruiting. But here's a question from John B. What would you rate Harburg as quarterback? Honestly, I think if the kid wasn't a Nebraska kid, the fans would be blasting him on social media. That's a tough one.
Oof.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal.
Is he Tebow-ish?
Well, no,
I mean,
I would
without
say
the
no.
talent, because, Tebow had like Percy Harvin. Like, to me, Tebow was just a good leader. He kind of wasn't consistent in his throwing, but he would just throw.
Well,
what do you think?
I think when you look at Nebraska's quarterbacks, and this goes with the conversation, like neither one of them has played far and above better than the other one.
Right.
We talked about it in the first segment of the show. 50% of your passes is probably not going to cut it, right? And Nebraska's going to need some element. Now, you can also look around and say, all right, how much of that falls on Heinrich Harburg and how much of that falls on wide receivers? Because I think there is a two-way street here. And then how much of that falls on the offensive line, not giving Heinrich Harburg maybe enough time. Heinrich Harburg is 4 games into his quarterbacking career. Jeff Sims has a little more experience, but here at Nebraska, we didn't really see Jeff Sims a whole lot. I don't know if it's fair to put a rating on Heinrich Harburg right now. I think when you look at the conversation or the quarterback controversy, as some are saying it, I'm not sure it's fair to compare the two right now, because you have one guy that in Jeff Sims that had played probably 2 of the better opponents that Nebraska's faced. I'd put Minnesota and Colorado ahead of the Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech, and Illinois. But then you have Heinrich Harburg, who through 4 games as a starter is 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's a difficult conversation. There's part of me that also, Strick, like I would have liked to see, I still wish we could see Jeff Sims. Do I think it happens? Probably not. But I would still like to see more Jeff Sims before we give this inaccurate or early rating on how bad or how good Heinrich Harburg is.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair through 2 games. There, yes, the factual thing is that there was a -6 turnover margin and that Jeff Sims fumbled snaps. Like those are all true and accurate, and you can hang your hat on those. Doesn't mean but Heinrich Harburg hasn't played well enough in my eyes to say, yeah, it's far and away better than Jeff Sims would have ever given us. I think it's unfair to say that about Jeff Sims already.
Well, we're going to get to Brian Munson because some of you have had some questions that came in with regard to recruiting. That's what we'll talk to him about. Brian Munson will be coming up next here on The Block, 93.7 The Ticket.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And Electrical.
Elway Power Sports of Lincoln is kicking off October with Can-Am side-by-side specials all month long. Are you ready to rule the terrain on a 2023 Can-Am Defender, Commander, or Maverick? You call a play and score big with rebates up to $1,500 or financing as low as 1.99% for 36 months. From an open road to the trails, there's a Can-Am side-by-side that's right for you, and Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has them all under one roof at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer ends October 31st, 2023. Certain conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street. At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, they're having a one-day sale on Friday, October 13th. For Friday only, enjoy USDA Choice Boneless Rump Roast for just $3.99 per pound. Limit 10 pounds. All natural St. Louis-style spare ribs for $1.99 per pound, plus more in-store specials. That's all this Friday for the one-day sale at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent Vinny Krekak at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Be sure and call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technician will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and man, do the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Coppell, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with roof credit.
What is Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union? It's more. More earning, more freedom, more rewards. With Kasasa Cash, you earn up to 5.5% APY, and your rewards begin instantly from a penny up to $40,000, all without monthly service fees. Plus, Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union gives you more ATMs nationwide. When you want more, you want Kasasa Cash. Visit libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Account qualifications apply.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The weekend forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine as well as some calm winds. Afternoon high should top out around 66. Tonight we'll see clear skies and an overnight low of around 40. And tomorrow, more of the same. Lots of sunshine, calm winds. A little warmer tomorrow. We'll see an afternoon high of around 72. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, They deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block. E. Strick here and Nick Sainert, thanking you once again, always chiming in on the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. You had some questions, but now joining us on the Allo VIP line is your favorite guy, our favorite guy, Brian Munson, to talk about some recruiting and just to give a little feedback on what he saw out there on this past weekend between Illinois and the Huskers. And but we're definitely going to get to those questions that you guys posed to us, but also we want to know his thoughts on some things with regards to recruiting. Brian Munson, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
We're doing wonderful, man. We got through the weekend. There was some coaching debacles. There was a lot of craziness going on. We didn't really get to dig into that. I think we may add that another segment because we really wanted to talk about that. But Nebraska finds himself looking pretty good, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of things are still need some work. But there were some questions, and you have some details on some recruiting news for us, yeah?
Absolutely, man. Where do you want to start?
Man.
I'll ask you this first, Brian. Kawan Lacey is a guy that's really catching fire on the recruiting trail, and he's been committed to the Huskers for a while, a running back pledge from this 2024 class. I saw you just got an offer from the Florida Gators. What more can you tell listeners on just the senior season that Kawan Lacey is having?
Well, I mean, he's healthy. And last year he got bit by an injury bug in a preseason scrimmage against DeSoto, against Mario's team, Buford.
Yeah.
And it was just like he just couldn't quite ever get healthy. He'd come back from the ankle, he'd have a contusion, he'd come back from that, and he could never really like set sail and just go with his junior year. He has put it together this year. I mean, he had a strong spring track season. He ran a 10.6 100. He's a 5'11-ish, 185-pound, kind of running back that is just like a do it kind of everything kind of dude. He's running between the tackles. He's running a stretch play. He's catching it out of the backfield. He splits out and runs slot. He could even run, Z or X types of routes as well. He's just this real kind of Swiss Army knife kind of dude for the Lancaster offense, and can actually work into the return game as well. He has speed to take it to the house. He has the ability to get yards after contact. He's really what that Nebraska running back room is missing right now. I know that the Florida offer has come through. I know that there's been several schools kind of keeping tabs on him. I'm supposed to be catching up with him this afternoon, in fact, but I haven't so far. He's, the last time I spoke to him was actually in person, and he told me he was done. Like, the recruiting was over with. There was really no doubt in his mind that Nebraska was the ideal set of circumstances for him, because he knew that he could get up there, walk through the door, and be part of the immediate picture at running back. So I think he's looking for that kind of situation, and Nebraska has really sold him on what's kind of going on up there in Lincoln. I think it's also helped. Garrett McGuire has been doing really a fantastic job recruiting that south side of Dallas, where you're looking at Cedar Hill, where he was really from, over to Lancaster, catching Duncanville, South Oak Cliff, all those areas down there. And he's really, he's been able to kind of dig in, obviously with the three guys that visited from Duncanville for the Michigan game, the top sophomore edge Kevin Ford. Very similarly, he's just kind of, he's a very strong recruiter, and a lot of people have taken to him very early, even though he's this really young guy that a lot of people kind of questioned right after he was hired.
Well, you're talking about the running back situation. Nebraska's offensive line, allegedly, they say is probably, well, we don't know allegedly, but as far as their veteranship, they seem to be probably one of the strongest veteran lines out there. But Nebraska seems to have continued to look in that direction by offering a regional kid, 225 offensive lineman out of Colorado, Cherry Creek High School in Glenwood, Soren Scheinefield. What's your thoughts on him? This is one of his first major offers. Is it something that they're just trying to get a hold of the region a little bit early to get those relationships built?
You hit the nail on the head, buddy. This is a guy, obviously, that is going to pick up more offers as time goes on. Number one, was Nebraska first to land a punch and get the offer in there? Absolutely. And and it does matter. It does matter when you see a school come through and they're the first ones there. Particularly when you have a staff like Nebraska that, they recruit everybody, so hard. And they don't just recruit the player. They recruit the coach. They recruit mom. They recruit brother and sister. They go after the whole thing, and they're looking to kind of make a fit. And that's one of the reasons why Quan Lacey actually did commit to Nebraska, was because they recruited mom and everybody else kind of came along with it too. So it's one of those things, though. I mean, there's such a great amount of regional talented offensive tackles in next year that Nebraska fans should be very, very excited about. You got Taryn Hedrick. You got Nikolai Brooks, who picked up, actually he committed to Iowa just recently. Strike that one right there. There's a bunch of dudes though in basically the regional kind of area next year for 2025 that are offensive tackles. I think Nebraska fans, they're feeling bad because they're kind of looking at the list and feeling like they got left out a little bit. Talmua could possibly play some tackle. You're still on the hunt for Grant Bricks. Who knows? I mean, you got Pyfrom, who just decommitted from Illinois, and despite the fact that he's not heard from Nebraska yet, maybe that changes somewhere else down the line. So I think that Nebraska, if they decide to load up on guys, a couple guys that can play both inside and outside, but most guys that are inside, there is a plethora of dudes in the 2025 class that are playing the tackle position basically in the area that they should feel really, really good about.
We're speaking to Brian Munson of Husker Online on the Allo VIP line. And Brian, one name that you did mention there that I was actually going to ask you about is Grant Bricks. He's a guy out of the state of Iowa that his entire recruitment has been really, really quiet. He's played it really close to the vest. I mean, are there any updates with the 4-star lineman out of Iowa, or are we just kind of just hanging on until early signing day or maybe a little bit before that?
Yeah, I would advise all the Nebraska fans, if you're going to hold your breath waiting for the next update to fall on Bricks, you stand the risk of suffocating. Wow. He is just simply not dealing with any type of pressure situations. He's not listening to it. He is marching to the beat of his own drum. Even when you have, the other schools like Kansas State's picking up interest in Navarro Shunke, for example, another guy that was on Nebraska's radar earlier on in February, March. And OU has kind of pushed to the top of another 4-star offensive lineman's board. I think he's from Florida. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. But those schools are still moving along and still kind of doing their own thing. And I think Kansas State, is behind a little bit when it comes to their overall recruiting class. But OU is, trucking along, and they're still waiting on, a guy like Bricks to kind of come in there and have a spot for him. But they're also kind of keeping some other dudes warm. Nebraska, on the other hand, seems to kind of have all those eggs into that one bucket. There's a guy like Andrew Thomas, who's technically still on Michigan State's board, but I don't think that he'll end up signing with the Spartans based on the problems that they're having up there in East Lansing. And, unless that they, you make some kind of a splash hire like Urban Meyer or something like that. But yeah, I think with Bricks, he's not interested in conforming. He's played the process very differently than everybody else has typically. he let the month of June kind of go by. He kind of put himself on a timer for that end of July, beginning of August, then it was Labor Day. And now that we're, sitting here in October, I just don't feel like he's interested in telling anybody about whenever he feels like he has to get something done, because he doesn't feel like he needs to do anything based on anybody else's time.
Brian, I have a question off the text line, the Sauter Heyman text line. Once again, 402. We're probably going to only be able to get to one or two of these, but one unnamed tester 5381 states, why hasn't Nebraska gone after Anthony Rizak, quarterback out of Westside?
Well, not saying that they haven't. I mean, he's unofficially visited, for the NIU game. It may have been Louisiana Tech. I can't quite remember which one it was. So I mean, they've been keeping him warm. I mean, I think that stuff's happened, very, very quickly, even that week, to kind of get Rizach to come in there. I think the biggest reason why, they've kind of been kind of slow there to kind of pick up some steam and interest in him probably became pretty clear when Blair quarterback Bodie Soka, announced his commitment to walk on at Nebraska today. I think Bodie has actually been in the class and had told Nebraska that he wanted to get in now for a while. One of the reasons why I say that, he's been to every home game. You've not seen that, from Rizach. You've not seen that even from a guy like Caleb Benning. And these are not shots at those guys. I'm just saying there's been a difference in how many times that they have been in the stands versus other guys and even invited to the games. Bodie has been there for every single one of them. That indicates to me, at least, that there has been probably a commitment by him to be a preferred walk-on for a lot longer than just him announcing it today.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the biggest part right there, buddy. But I think ultimately too, Nebraska would come at him with, we're going to recruit you as an athlete, probably more than likely a safety. And I don't even know how interested he would be to kind of hear those words.
Brian, two more really quickly for you. One Nebraska specific, and then one big NCAA recruiting picture question I have for you. The Nebraska specific one, just overall, who's the biggest fish out there that you could see Nebraska being able to reel in by early signing day?
Well, I mean, Bricks is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Bricks may be the only guy that really technically that's in the class that's truly like an offensive tackle. I know he's rated as an IOL, but Bricks may be it. Talmua could probably do it. Who knows? Even like a Gibson Pyle could probably pull it off because he's done it down there before in Houston. But I'd say Bricks, and then I would kind of then go back to Jayshon Ross. So we're kind of in a limbo of Jayshon Ross time too, because he said that he would be committing here very, very quickly, and that was after his official visit to Nebraska in September as well. I got to think that we'll hear something out of the Ross camp in the month of October, and I think Nebraska's in a pretty good position for him.
All right, last one before we let you go. Brian Munson of Husker Online joining us on the Allo VIP line. The NCAA Rules Committee just announced, I can't remember if it was last week, I believe, that there's no more photo shoots during unofficial visits and such. I mean, how big of a deal is this, if anything at all? And just how much pressure, I guess, or coordination does that take away from recruiting departments not having to worry about something as little as a photo shoot?
Yeah, but the recruits love it, and I think the Nebraska photos are very, very special. They've got some sweet props. They've got some great backgrounds. They've been able to kind of pull off some really cool things. I love the big oversized throne.
Yeah.
Love some of the old picture stuff, particularly with guys that are legacies. The Neil Smith and Keelan Smith stuff. It's been just totally great to see. I think it hurts. I mean, obviously, I think Matt Rhule is going to get a chance to get in front of, not a lot of these kids in the 2025 and 2026 classes having been in Nebraska lately or ever, and bringing them in, this season, so he can probably put himself in a position for official visits. But, there's a timeline here to the whole recruiting process that Nebraska is really, really, really still struggling to kind of get in front of when it comes to even the 2025 class. And you don't want to miss out on those opportunities. And if you're missing out on another thing like a photo shoot and something like that, another great thing to kind of put up on your Instagram and show everybody that you were there. It takes away from it somewhat. And honestly, I don't quite understand it, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. I don't know if it's an expense thing and not all the schools can afford it, or I don't know. I have no idea. I don't get that one at all.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Well, we appreciate the time as always, man. Really good stuff on the recruiting trail. Once again, that's Brian Munson of Husker Online. We'll talk to you next week, Brian.
Yeah, be good, guys. We'll see you.
All right, Brian. Thanks.
There he is on the I Love VIP line.
Good stuff.
Appreciate Brian Munson of Husker Online. Good stuff on the recruiting trail. I was a little thrown off as well by the quietness of Jay-Sean Ross, because I had heard some things after his official visit that Nebraska was in a pretty good spot that following weekend, and nothing was said from the Jay-Sean Ross camp. But according to Brian Munson, who knows recruiting a lot better than I do, believes we'll hear something from him coming up this month in October.
Yeah, good stuff. We just hope to continue to fill those gaps and those holes and areas and to continue to get better. That's all that we're talking about. We want to when we project, we're projecting how and what we would like to see in order for the program to continue to thrive and strive for excellence. But we're going to get out of here. We'll get right back to finish up with a crossover. 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustis Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustis Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustisBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustis Body Shop. That's who we are.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, they're having a one-day sale on Friday, October 13th. For Friday only, enjoy USDA Choice Boneless Rump Roast for just $3.99 per pound. Limit 10 pounds. All natural St. Louis-style spare ribs for $1.99 per pound, plus more in-store specials. That's all this Friday for the one-day sale at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The weekend forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine as well as some calm winds. Afternoon high should top out around 66. Tonight we'll see clear skies and an overnight low of around 40. And tomorrow more of the same, lots of sunshine, calm winds. A little warmer tomorrow. We'll see an afternoon high of around 72. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Plungers and store-bought chemicals can only go so far and can harm your drains. Call the professionals at John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical to get your drains flowing. We won't only make sure the clog is taken care of, but we will ensure your drains are completely clean so the clog will not come back. Give John Henry's a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
And Electrical.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
So I just got the State Farm personal price plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
What is Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union? It's more. More earning, more freedom, more rewards. With Kasasa Cash, you earn up to 5.5% APY, and your rewards begin instantly from a penny up to $40,000, all without monthly service fees. Plus, Kasasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union gives you more ATMs nationwide. When you want more, you want Kasasa Cash. Visit libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Account qualifications apply.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment here is the crossover with DP joining us here on the block to round out Manic Monday, which was absolutely crazy weekend for football, but the Huskers did get it done. DP, I know you're gonna dig into it, but initial thoughts on the weekend of sports for you. Because I know you're hyped about baseball right now. You're hyped about where things is going. But God darn it, the Huskers went in and got a road win. It may not have been pretty, but yet they scrapped. And boy, oh boy, that defense was, they were everywhere.
There's no column for ugly or pretty. It's wins and losses.
Yeah. 3-3.
Like, did you get it done?
You did.
Look, you get caught in the distraction of the minutia, but the reality is mission accomplished. Mm-hmm. Mission accomplished. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't. I like when I'm not emotionally vested in the game in a side, then I just want it to be good. But when you're
like Texas and Oklahoma,
like I just
that was good.
Like get up, get down. Okay, be exceptional. But for the Huskers, they're not pretty football. As a matter of fact, it should be a statement: win ugly. Like that would be. I'd have it on a shirt,
right?
Because they're not playing pretty. Listen, if you wear the red jerseys with black shoes, you ain't trying to be pretty no way. Your quarterback wearing black shoes, bro. And run like he got on boots, right? Like this is not pretty. We're not trying to be pretty. Ugly it up. Messy. Look, if you're not the most athletic, Strick, there are times when you took the floor where you weren't the most athletic group. But y'all need to grind. You need to turn it into something a little grimy.
That's facts.
Right? So once
That's
you
how we beat the Chicago Bulls when they won.
Yep,
broke the record at that
once
time.
you know.
Gritty.
Listen, we're not gonna be Air Jordan.
Yeah.
Like we don't have his royal grace Scottie Pippen. Like we don't have that. We don't have the monsters. You don't have it. So then you got to be a gang. Have you ever watched the movie called The Wanderers?
No, I've watched the one called The Warrior. Warriors,
like
come out and play.
It's not. Look, they weren't the biggest, baddest, toughest.
Yeah.
Right. They just were the ones willing to do whatever. That's what I said Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, that was what you talked about.
Like,
you
I don't
talked about. Look, we gang.
I don't need. Look. You don't have a Heisman Trophy winner. You might not have an All Big Ten. Don't care.
You don't have the pipeline.
Hey, look, you don't. Rozier ain't walk. What is it? Rozier ain't walking back in the door.
But I did say this, DP. This is what this is. There was just one play that I'm going to speak specifically to.
Okay.
That I'm reminded of, and it was Harburg's break for that big game for the touchdown, right? Ethan Piper pulled and got in the hole, and he literally pancaked somebody. Like, it wasn't the traditional like pancake that we've seen where you're engaged and you bulled. I mean, he hit him and that I mean, he just went and back scraped and all of that. If he didn't have nothing on his skin, I like that. That showed me that what you had talked about going into that game, that's what I wanted to see. Not going in the hole looking at air. Go get somebody and put body to body.
I just like that's what offensive linemen like eat, man.
Yeah.
It's Pancake City. You got to eat. And
Pancake International.
Right? Pancake Incorporated.
Go in there.
Rebrand it, eat. Look, I had my charity in Charlotte when I was with the Panthers was the offensive line. And we named the charity Fat Guy Charity.
Okay.
And it was because all
you can eat.
Yeah, it was yards gained, pancake blocks, and sponsors literally lined up to sponsor this stuff. And it was the Panthers NFL Charity Year.
Yeah.
Because it built a personality and culture. Mm-hmm. And it highlighted the grunt work. It highlighted the Charlotte Moving Company. And the Huskers figured it out. Look, it's never going to be that beautiful, graceful track meet on turf. That's not who they are. That's not who we know that now. Like they don't have the offensive line of Wisconsin and Michigan. They don't look the same.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be grimy. It's okay to be grimy. And it got them a win. So bravo.
Yeah. No, they don't have skill positions like Ohio State, and they don't, but they showed that they don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
There's things to clean up. There's things to clean up.
They didn't need it Friday. But
that's exactly what I was going to get at. There's still things to clean up. The 10 penalties for 70 yards, the other things like that. 4 straight possessions where it was field goal miss from 36 yards out, fumble, interception, fumble throughout halfway point of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. That you can get away with that against maybe an Illinois, but Wisconsin, probably not. A Maryland in a month, absolutely not. Those games are going to decide whether or not you're going to a bowl game at that point and what bowl game you could be playing in. Those things matter towards you.
Well, you know that you can't do it against Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's been the history. And we know that the season is pointing directly at Iowa.
Yeah.
That this team could possibly be at 5 wins on Black Friday, needing to put together a masterpiece of a game on Black Friday, where you just because against Iowa the record is they hang out until you give it away, and when you don't give it away, like last year, you walk out with a win. So, okay, that's kind of the space. We fully accepted the fact that I don't think this is a 9-win team, but this could be a 7 or 8-win team.
Yeah. I think this next stretch can determine that.
Well, I mean, look, get Northwestern.
Yeah.
I don't really. I was here for
I'm tired of that. We lost to them. Bro, I was there. You know how sick I was, DP, walking out of Aluva. Was it Aluva? What Aluva Stadium?
Can we
Bro,
set a
I was
rule
sick to my stomach.
that if a team, I don't care what level the team, if the team asks you to travel across the world, that if they don't win, they reimburse you. Like some portion of the money.
Right.
Like listen, you got me over here.
I couldn't even go out after that and have me
You
a
wearing a
frosty
red
mug.
shirt. You wearing a red shirt in Ireland. They looking at you.
Yeah, I bet you feel real stupid for coming all this way now. Have fun on that 18-hour flight back.
Nick,
that's about to get delayed.
What made it okay for me was the back half of all the other beautiful places I went to. So I got going to
but
Turkey.
you had to end on that.
But to end on that was not
No,
fun.
it would have been course meal.
I was saying,
and then he found a roach in the dessert. And then
It would have been better
roach in the dessert. It was like,
Imagine if you would have been able to leave that game going, well, look at all this stuff I got coming up. I get to put this, I get to forget this. I got all this other stuff coming up.
You got to come home wearing the stench of what that was. No, I think we know what it is. It's 10 days. We get to chill.
Yeah.
Let them create stories for us because we're not going to get any more news this week, really. And then it's a buildup. So you get to watch other people, see how you measure. The Northwestern versus Howard thing is part of the story as much as you don't want it to be. Quite frankly, I said I verbally committed to play football at Howard. No, it should not be. It should not be the same thing.
Nothing.
Like it should not be. You should not be. This is one you go in the locker room and you just have to take off the uniforms. I'm not even talking to you with uniform. Take them off. We need to wash them and get the stench of the stink of a bad performance off of it. But they don't. Northwestern doesn't care about what happened to them the week before or what happened in Nebraska the week before. They don't care. We know that. That's the walk up is go 1-0, get your fist up, bring some fighting gear if you need to. But
we got about a minute left. DP, being that we're a week out, what's your expectation? Because right now we're gonna get the pressers and stuff tomorrow. But what's your thoughts on the basketball situation right now, being where they're under appreciated?
Fight. There's no other response to it. Maybe the respect hasn't been earned yet, but that's okay. That's okay. There are a lot of questions about this Nebraska team. There may be answers.
Mm-hmm. Well, there it is. DP will be joining you with Jay next on Old School.
Harrison's here.
Harrison's in the building.
Let's go.
Well, let's get it. But we'll see you mañana, tomorrow, Taco Tuesday. We'll be in the building. Me and Nick Sainert once again, right here on the block from 2 to 4. See you tomorrow. Peace.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, they're having a one-day sale on Friday, October 13th. For Friday only, enjoy USDA Choice Boneless Rump Roast for just $3.99 per pound. Limit 10 pounds. All natural St. Louis-style spare ribs for $1.99 per pound, plus more in-store specials. That's all this Friday for the one-day sale at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors